Hey, JK here. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me. Ladies and gentlemen, week 14 is over. Playoffs are heating up not only in the NFL, but in fantasy. We do still have a league where there's a regular season game left. I don't understand how, but let's just go ahead and get through that and then get to the playoffs because we're already guaranteed a spot. It is heating up in the NFL because there are teams with matchups we did not expect 14 weeks ago. Who thought Jacksonville and Indy would be one of the top matchups of week 14? I sure didn't. Who thought that of all people coming out of retirement or getting a call out of free agency would be Phillip Rivers? That's wild. In any case, let's go ahead and get to the teams. Let's make sure we are just talking positive because that's all we can do anymore. We're in the playoffs in some leagues. We are in consolation brackets, so that's the best we could have done. So let's just talk positive and let's make sure that we're going to end this season on a high note. First thing we're going to talk about is the deranged Easter Bunny. They still have a regular season game left. Don't understand how, but it is what it is. We were able to win this past week 164 to 146. Huge performance by Michael Wilson with 44 points, followed by my boy Harold Fannin Jr. with 31. Saying in baseball, just like I say in football, if you don't have a good catcher or a good tight end, stream. I have some of the better ones in baseball. I have some of the better ones in football now with Harold Fannin Jr. We're going to continue this trend, and we're not going to let Fannin go because he has become Shedeur Sanders' safety blanket. Thankfully, and it ain't long face ugly man Jerry Jeudy. It's my boy Harold Fannin Jr. On the opposite side, the Redskins are continuing to screw up Jaden Daniels like they did to RG3, making him or having him play through injury. He only got me 12 points. I know you got hurt, but buddy, there are 3 games left. For the love of God, please don't play. Just sit those out. Let Mariota, as I think it's Chris Collinsworth or Joe Buck or someone else. They say it really funny. Mariota. Let him play, man. Let him get hurt if we need to throw someone else in. For God's sake, don't put Jaden Daniels back in. We also only had 8 points for Kyle Mononga and George Pickens. Definitely expected more, especially from Pickens, but it is what it is. You'll crash out. Just catch the ball, man. Dak, throw it to him. Pickens, catch it, score a touchdown or 3 for me. That'd be nice. We also only had 6 points from the defense of the Broncos. I expected more from them going against the Oakland Raiders. I know it's Las Vegas. Well, I whispered it, but I like the Oakland Raiders better. In any case, unfortunately, I only got 6 points from that defense. I did have an ad in Nick Bonito. He got 2 sacks for me, so that was 10 points. We also picked up Michael Wilson. Don't know how he was available. Don't ask questions. I'm just glad I was able to pick him up. Thank you for those guys. We dropped Brian Burns. We dropped Dallas Stephens. And we also dropped Aaron Jones Sr. If Mononga is not going to produce, we're going to pick up Aaron Jones Sr. again. I don't think either one of them is going to produce a whole lot, but I really have more trust in Mononga. So keep doing what you're doing, man. This win brought us to 9-5. If we win this next week, it'll be double-digit wins, which is great. However, the highest we can climb is to 3rd place because we cannot catch the guy right now who has 11 wins, and then the other guy's in the other side of the division, so we can't catch him. It's going to be important for us to go ahead and just be happy, content, and ferocious against whoever they put in front of us because it's getting down to absolute put up or shut up time. We're going to treat this like a playoff week. Hopefully we don't lose, but if we do, we have a little leeway. But again, it's going to be important for us to make sure we're playing our best players, just like in any other league. To touch on our next team, we're going to head on over to ESPN and talk about the Vince McMahon Football Club. We are in the constellation bracket, week 1 of a 2-week matchup in that bracket, and we're going against the same guy we beat in the last week of regular season, and we're currently beating him 199 to 99. Not too terribly worried about it, but who knows what could happen. We could absolutely collapse, but hopefully not. So that'll be enough about the Vince McMahon Football Club. Now we're going to move on over to the Jerome Horns Purple Dragons. Now the Purple Dragons were absolutely still fighting for a playoff spot. We were kind of 50-50 making it or not. We needed to win, and we also needed a tad bit of help because there was going to be a potential 3-way tie with a 6-8 record if we won. Well, we were going against the number 2 team in the league, number 1 team in our conference, so it was not going to be easy. We had to make sure we played our best players, use a waiver wire to our advantage, and for the love of God, not have injuries. We did our part. We were able to come out with a big win, 143 to 112. Michael Wilson led us in scoring. Surprise, surprise. Michael Wilson had 26 for us. Brandon Aubrey, the kicker for the Cowgirls, had 23, followed by T. Higgins with 21. Hopefully he's able to recover from his concussion-like symptoms that he was experiencing on Sunday night, Monday morning, and come out and play big for us. And then we had Jared Goff getting us 20, so that was great. On the other side, I can't really say anyone did poorly, But Derrick Henry only got us 9 points. Definitely expected more against a defense for Pittsburgh that's really not all that sexy or scary. And then Trey McBride, dude, you only got us 5 points. I am so disappointed in you. But again, there were like double digit 15, 16 targets going to my boy Michael Wilson. So not crazy, but again, let's make sure we're looking McBride's way. Jacoby. Yep, look at my boy McBride. Moving on over to the adds and drops, we added Adonai Mitchell, which we did not play, and we added Michael Wilson, who came up huge for us. We dropped Mr. Parker Washington, and we dropped the Ravens defense. This win brought us to 6-8. We did have a little bit of help, as well, there was a 3-way tie. We came out with a tiebreaker, and we are the 6th spot in this league. We're now heading to the playoffs, and we're playing against the same person we beat in week 14. And he's now the 3rd seed, so I know he's mad. He is going to be coming at me with everything he's got, so we absolutely have to play our best game. I don't want to look ahead and make it seem as though I'm looking past this opponent. However, we beat the opponent for week 1 for the quarterfinals. We also beat the person in the semifinals, or who we would meet in the semifinals. The people that we would face on the other side of the division, they're the ones I'm a little worried about because I didn't beat any of them. So I could conceivably, based on previous performances, make it to the championship with a 6-8 record. That is wild. Not unheard of, but wild. So fingers crossed, we'll come at you next week with some good news, coming out with a win in the quarterfinals. The last team we're talking about is the Party Time Party Boys, and this was a win and you're in situation. We were going against the worst team in the league, but we know how I do with the worst team in the league. Very similar to how we do with the best team in the league in this situation, and we were able to come out with a big win. Again, big thanks to Michael Wilson. 165-107. Michael Wilson accounted for 37 of those points. Then Jared Goff accounted for 31 of them. So again, those two guys coming up huge for me. On the other side, Derrick Henry did have 11 points for us, but again, expected a little more. And then Jaden Higgins, the guy I talked up so much last week, only got a 6. So that's frustrating. As we move to the adds and drops, we did add Jaden Higgins. We did add the Miami Dolphins defense, and we did add my boy Zach Ertz. RIP to Zach Ertz ACL. That is very tough and very unfortunate for him. To make room for those guys, we dropped Shamir DK. That's how you pronounce his name. DK. Not Dyke, not Dick, not Dicky, not Dikey. DK. Also dropped 25 Cent, Ricky Pearsall, and also Tez Johnson. What a pretender was Tez Johnson. I'm so upset with myself for falling into that trap. The win this week brought our record to 7-7, and that put us in second? Wait, second? Second overall? That means we took over number 1 in our division, and we have a first-round bye. Oh, baby. That is sweet. So we're just chilling right now. I'm so excited. I'm still obviously doing adds and drops and taking a look at stuff like that in matchups, but this is a nice feeling. We obviously will probably be outmatched once we get to second round, but hey, we're in the playoffs and we have a bye. So as we get to the people I think you should add for the playoffs, there are going to be some names that you probably haven't thought about this entire year because of injury or maybe just low performance. But I'm going to tell you to get back on that horse, add them to your team, and win a championship. Jaden Reed. He is my favorite receiver for the Packers. I know they have Bo Melton, who scored a touchdown last week. They have Christian Watson, who scored 2 touchdowns last week. They have Dontavion Wicks. They have Romeo Dobbs. I know it's Romeo Dobbs. They have Luke Musgrave. They have Wilson and Jacobs out of the backfield, but I like Jaden Reed. He is going to fall back into good graces, and he's going to make his presence felt in that offense. I know it. So go pick up Jaden Reed. If he was dropped in your league, I definitely think Mike Evans should be someone you pick up. I don't know about starting first week, but at the same time, who else is Baker Mayfield going to throw to? Nope, nobody. And there's still like 800 yards left for Mike Evans to have another 1,000-yard season. So they're going to try to feed him the ball like crazy. They're going to try to get him those yards. And I have him, so I hope he does pick up 200-300 yards a game. That'd be wonderful. In any case, definitely you should look at him. Also think you should be looking at, of all people, Alec Pierce or Michael Pittman. Now you might be thinking Michael Pittman's like 90% owned. Alec Pierce maybe not be as high, but if he's able to get some underneath, let's think about how much Mr. Phillip Rivers, grandpa coming out of retirement, loved hitting the underneath. He loved going to Keenan Allen. But I mean, Keenan Allen was I won't say a deep threat, but he was the main guy. But how much did he love the tight end? Yes, Ty Warner is going to warrant a lot of attention. But if, Alec Pierce can go underneath on a slant, go on a drag, go on a zig, he's going to be able to hit him. I really like Alec Pierce this upcoming week. No, the pass catcher I'm big on this week, Luther Burden. Mainly because he's finally coming to life in that offense, and DJ Moore is no more in that offense. That is not who Caleb Paint My Nails Wilson Williams, whatever your name is. That's not who he wants to throw to. He wants to find Luther Burden, and he wants to find Colston Loveland, another tight end I think you should be looking at. He got a lot of love. He's a cheater, but this is fantasy, so let's see if we can get someone who's going to help us win. Speaking of the Bears, pick up their defense. They're going against the Browns. The Browns are going to brown. Is this it? They're going to brown. So I think they will be a good pickup this week. That's going to do it for the people I think you should add. That's also going to do it for the wrap-ups. We're in the playoffs in 3 of our 4 leagues. I'm happy with that. 75%. That's passing. That's passing. So I'm happy with it. We will hope to be back next week and talking about how much success we had with the playoff run and are getting to the playoffs, trying to get to 10 wins with the Deranged Easter Bunny. So let's keep that in mind. Always look at the waiver wire. People are going to be making some crazy decisions towards this end of the year. And especially if you're in a keeper league, do not overlook the waivers. This is JK. I want to thank you for sharing part of your day with me.